The question is, why study economics? Well, put simply, the world we live in could be a much better place than it is if more people understood the simplicities of economics. Why do I say this? Because so many of the world's present problems and difficulties stem from the way we understand and apply economics. Economics is critical because economics deals with the things that make life's possibilities possible or impossible for everyone. So everyone should know something about it. It has the power and the potential to make the world a better place or to make it worse. And I should add, economics is not really complicated. It only seems to be complicated because the simplicities of economics are hidden behind a barrier of complex mathematics, formulas, statistics, and ideas. But essentially, economics is much more simple than that because it's really about people and the possibilities of human life, and it touches everyone, everywhere, all the time. For example, you want a quiet night's sleep. Do you ever think economics determines whether you have a place to sleep or not? You want a decent meal. Economics determines whether there's any food and what food there is. You want to travel. Economics determines whether there's any transport and what it will cost. You need a job. Economics determines whether you can find one or not. You want to listen to a YouTube clip. Economics determines whether there's any power in your machine. It's happening right now. You want to change the climate. Both the problem and the solution have their roots in economics. Economics affects everyone. So, understanding the forces governing economic life helps us to understand what is governing our own life and perhaps to shape it for the better, whether just for ourselves or for everybody. For example, here in the UK, we celebrate Halloween every year on the 31st of October. And a popular part of the celebration is to make lanterns with weird faces carved out of pumpkins. Everyone knows this. A while ago, I saw a documentary film about a lady who worked for a big supermarket chain. Her job was to make sure that there were enough pumpkins available for sale in the supermarkets in the last 2 weeks in October. To do this, she had to monitor and liaise with numerous pumpkin farmers who in turn relied on the supermarket to buy and distribute their pumpkins. If they were ready too soon or too late, then the crop was lost. The farmers lost their income, the supermarket lost profits on sales. The lady instead gave every impression of loving her job. When you think about it, on the face of it, the whole operation is, on the one hand, absurd and wonderful at the same time. Millions of pumpkins. Do you know the official estimate is 17 million Halloween pumpkins in the UK alone, one for every 4 people in the UK. All for sale at the same time every year. More than half of these will simply be thrown away, including the carved out edible flesh. Absurd, wonderful, yet how many families depend on this for their living? And what sort of world can produce millions of pumpkins on the 31st of October to be thrown away in the first week of November and yet cannot feed millions of its inhabitants? It's estimated, that 828 million people in the world go to bed hungry every night. 828 million men, women, and children. Why? What can be done about that? Well, a careful study of economics can offer answers and remedies. Do you know that 10% of the world's population currently takes 52% of global income annually? You probably did know, it's a well-known statistic. Whereas half the population lives on just 8.5% of global income. If you think of that in terms of your 10 nearest neighbours, this means that one household gets more than half of the income produced by all 10. 5 of them share less than 10% between them, and the other 4 get about 10% each, assuming it is distributed evenly between those 4. Why does this happen? Economics can actually explain this, although it cannot explain why we cling to a distorted view of economics that causes and allows it. If more people understood this, I can't help thinking it would be much less likely to happen. You probably know that the United Nations has agreed some sustainable development goals for the whole world and its governments to work towards. They aim to end poverty and hunger, to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for everyone. This includes universal primary education, gender equality, empowerment of women and girls, as well as ensuring clean water, sufficient energy, sustained economic growth, and decent work for everyone. They also aim to combat climate change, conserve oceans and forests, protect ecosystems, promote peaceful and secure societies, and of course, to promote sustainable development across the globe. These are fine and noble aspirations that touch all of us. And if you examine any one of them, you'll find economics at the heart of both the problem and the solution. Because, of course, this is the real subject matter of economics. People, the way that we do live, and the way that we can live. And everyone, everywhere, is touched and affected by this. And there's the way that we're governed. For much of the world, democratic participation is a key element of government that involves people making choices about what the aims and methods of government will be. But the aims of government and the means of achieving them are intimately interwoven with economics. Botswana in southern Africa, for example, is blessed with very few natural resources. But it does have diamonds. Unlike many governments elsewhere, the Botswana government found ways to harness revenues from the diamond mining industry and direct them to improving public infrastructure instead of improving private or corporate fortunes. The result is one of the most successful economies in Africa, based on very limited resources. Here in the UK, and we're not alone in this, we have a government that wants to reduce taxation. But at the moment, they can't, because the economy won't allow it. So what is this massive power that governs governments? And how can it be harnessed to achieve the best outcomes for everyone? This is what economics is actually about. And at least some widespread understanding of this is essential if governments are to be able to work in the best interests of their people. So, this is what economics has to offer. On the one hand, it explains how and why we live the way that we do, and on the other, it offers the possibility of fuller, better lives for everyone, and the means of achieving that. The very existence of the Sustainable Development Goals shows that people all across the globe think and believe that the human world can and should be a better place than it is. Economics is the subject that shows how to make it possible. And understanding this better really will help us to make better choices for the well-being of ourselves, our families, friends, communities and nations. And on top of all that, to be perfectly honest, it's an absolutely fascinating subject. It's so worthwhile. So for more information about courses, look for the link in the notes below and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching and farewell for now.